Hi friends, I am Gautam Malhotra and in this video I will be explaining you about my project. So let me introduce you to my firm, that is D-Show India Private Limited. It is basically a hedge fund. So a lot of companies, they can invest into the firm, which in turn invests the money in a lot of sectors. So before discussing about my project, let me discuss about what a rule is and what a rules engine is. So a rule is a set of conditions and a set of actions. So when a set of conditions it is evaluated to true, then that set of actions is performed. So a rules engine is basically an evaluator for rules. So we fed the rules engine with all the rules, and it basically performs the corresponding actions that we need to take. So in the project, my first task is evaluating various rules engines based on the metrics that are listed. So configurability is basically how easy it is for the end user to configure the rules, that is to add or modify the rule. Then the scalability. So if I evaluate several hundreds or thousands of rules in parallel, will it affect the speed or not? Then robustness, that is the ability to evaluate the complex expressions. Then using the QL support in condition part and enhancing the QL actually. So QL is an internal query language that is used in DE-Shaw. So regarding the need of the project, the first need is providing configurability to end users actually. That is, this project will aim at providing GUI to the end user using which it can add or modify a rule. Then robustness, that is the ability to evaluate the complex expression that involves an and, an or operator, and a lot of such operators. Then reducing the number of rules. So once we're able to evaluate complex expressions actually, we can combine multiple rules and thus it will lead to reducing the number of rules. Then simplifying the current rule structure, as it's quite bulky and quite cumbersome and it's not readable actually. Then evaluating the internal data types and internal operators in rules. So the scope of project, there are two phases of my project. The first phase is only Drools. So the scope of Drools is to only handle the workflow rule management infrastructure. Regarding the internal QL, it is used in the Drools as well as in the existing rule management infrastructure. So this shows how a rule works. So basically, when a runtime data is inserted, we check if the rules they're cached or not. If not, they are cached, and out of all the cached rules, we select the rules and then we evaluate the condition. If the condition is true, we check for more conditions and keep checking conditions. Once there are no more conditions, then we perform all the actions. So regarding rules, we first create a knowledge base. Then basically in the knowledge base we feed all the rules. Then we create the knowledge session out of the knowledge base and we insert all the objects, all the request objects that we need, that we create at runtime data that we need to evaluate against the rules we insert in the session. Once the objects are inserted, then we fire all the rules. Here all the conditions are evaluated and all the corresponding actions are performed, and then we dispose the session. So in the knowledge builder, we provide DLL files using which we actually construct the knowledge base, and out of the knowledge base, we create a stateful or stateless session actually. So this is the tech stack that is used for the project. So this is a sample rule. So when this is the condition, and this after then these are the actions, and this is the end of the rule. So basically, when we receive a message class object, the status is hello and my message value inside of message, then perform all these actions. So this is about the internal QL enhancements that I need to make actually. So all these, so basically for string data type and these operators, I've already made the enhancements. So all these enhancements I do not need to make actually, because the data type and the operators are not compatible. And these yellow ones, right, the operators and data types are compatible, but they are already supported actually. And these are the other data types and the other operators that are used in the form, regarding which I need to make some enhancements as well. So my learnings from the project are, initially I got a lot to learn about workflow rules, the management system and the rules engine. Earlier I just had a very brief knowledge, but now I have a quite detailed knowledge of this actually. The second thing is I've really improved on my research skills. Now I know a lot of metrics actually based upon which I have to base my research. Like I need to check about the community, about the versions, about the speed and all, a lot of things. Then I've learned the practical implementation of things that I've done in the college actually, like the OOPS, how beautifully the OOPS concepts are implemented, the use of interfaces, putting the right data into right thing, encapsulation, and all that stuff. It's very beautifully implemented. Then dealing with the cumbersome code base. This is the first time I dealt with such a heavy code base, and it was an amazing experience to handle it. Other than that, I have implemented caching practically, which I've only read about in the classes, and it was pretty much a good experience when you can actually speed up a 750 millisecond task to, let's say, 10 milliseconds. That's a great achievement using caching. And then the significance of communicating actually. So in our firm, the daily stand-ups are held, the meetings are held. So all those things show the importance of communication in a team. That how communication, it brings the clarity of idea. So my key achievements are, the first thing is I have implemented Drools framework. Then I've migrated like 50 to 60 rules to that framework actually with the better results. Then I implemented caching, which actually speeded up the task by 63 times. So it made rule evaluation 63 times faster. Then using Drools Rules Engine, the rule evaluation time was actually halved, which was a great win. Then I inculcated operator support in QL. So other than that, I inculcated QL support in Drools and the current infrastructure. Then, after my project, we were able to evaluate the complex expressions, which ultimately led to reduction in number of rules. So that's all regarding my project. Thanks a lot for listening.